Dear participants of the conference, this talk is on qualitative and quantitative markers of individual authorial conceptualization. The study was carried out by Professor Olena Levchenko in cooperation with Marianna Dilai from the Polytechnic National University. This study proposes a methodology of idiolect, idiostyle research based on identifying quantitative and qualitative markers of individual authorial conceptualization. We present statistical and metaphorical profiles of the concept of СМУТОК sadness in Ukrainian in general, in the corpus of fiction text, and also in the idiolects of individual writers. For this purpose, we use corpus data from GRAC 15, subcorpora of fiction, subcorpora of a number of modern Ukrainian writers, whose names are given on the slide. The functioning of the verbalizers of the concept in the writer's text is analyzed by means of statistical data grouping, dividing the population into homogeneous groups based on certain feature. Furthermore, we address the specificity of the metaphorization of the studied concept and focus on the metaphorical attributes of the concept's verbalizers. By conceptualization, we mean the peculiarities of concept verbalization, which consists in the use of both single-component units and multi-component compounds, the latter in turn indicating which category in particular within the individual author's worldview the phenomenon in question belongs. The relative frequency of both core and peripheral verbalizers of the domain СМУТОК SADNESS in Ukrainian literary text is analyzed, in order to view functioning of the verbalizers of the concept in the author's text, we grouped statistical data. The number of groups was approximated by Sturge's formula. Emotional states are metaphorized using a number of metaphorical models. In particular, the following directions of metaphorization are characteristic of the conceptual domain of sadness. They are: emotional state is a living being, it is an object, container, it is locus, it is a fluid substance, it is an element like fire, vapor. We can consider the conventionality of the model, cognitive level, and the conventionality creativity of filling in the model with verbal components. Mandatory components are the components necessary for meaning making, while optional components in some cases boost the metaphoricity and pragmatics of expressions. The image of an ideo-textual concept is created by metaphorization and metaphorical attributes of the concept's verbalizers. Thus, in the fiction subcorpus, we found 29 verbalizers of the concept of СМУТОК SADNESS. The largest repertoire was revealed in Olena, Irena Wilde, and Yuri Andrukhovich. In the text of the representatives of the younger generation of writers, namely Irena Karpa and Artem Chekh, this concept is represented by a smaller number of verbalizers. Here on the slide you can also see the names of the writers who are characterized by the highest and the lowest frequency of verbalizers of the concept of СМУТОК SADNESS. And here you can see a fragment of the table showing relative frequency of the verbalizers of the concept of СМУТОК SADNESS. The whole table is given in the paper. Table 2 presents statistical data for the verbalizer СМУТОК SADNESS. The most frequently lexeme СМУТОК SADNESS is used by Yuri Venechuk, Olena, and least frequently by Volodymyr Les. Yuri Vaynerchuk assigns both stabilized and individual authorial attributes to СМУТОК SADNESS. Stabilized attributes include, for example, глибокий, deep, щирий, sincere, вселенський, universal, пекучий, burning. The individual authorial attributes are високий, high, приречений, doomed, роз'їдаючий, corrosive, жахливий, terrible. And here you can see a number of metaphorical models typically used by Yuri Vaynerchuk. For example, emotion is a human being, bird or reptile. For example, смуток загніздився в його очах. Emotion is viewed also as an aggressive being, aggressive liquid. For example, смуток роз'їдав душу. Sadness is a natural phenomenon, like fog. For example, смуток вволікав їх з усібіч. Emotion is a person, as in a metaphorical expression, обійняв неспокій і смуток. Sadness is viewed as a liquid. For example, вилити свої смутки. And sadness is perceived as an artifact, for example, в кайданах смутку. So here on this slide, first of all, you can see statistical data for the verbalizers SOM sadness in the analyzed text, and then the graph comparing the frequencies of СМУТОК and SOM. The most frequently, the verbalizer SOM sadness is used by Volodymyr Lis. He uses it with the following attributes: бездонний, безпробудний, благородний, зеленкуватий, тихий. It should be noted that the frequency of the phrase тихий сум, quiet sadness, in subcorpus shows the stability of this attribute in the Ukrainian linguistic word view. A similar observation applies to the phrase глибокий сум, deep sadness. And here are some metaphorical models commonly actualized in the texts by Volodymyr Lis. On a number of slides that follow, we present the description of other verbalizers of the concept СМУТОК SADNESS, in particular the verbalizer печаль, sorrow, the verbalizer туга, anguish, the verbalizer жаль, sorrow, the verbalizer нудьга, boredom, and here you can see the frequency of verbalizers given in figure 2. The analysis of frequency of studied verbalizers shows how significant the author's deviation from mode is. In conclusion, we can say that the proposed methodology in general is aimed at identifying quantitative and qualitative markers of an idiolect idiostyle. The analysis of single-component verbalizers of the concept of СМУТОК SADNESS shows that the fullest repertoire is inherent in the idiolects of Olena and Irina Vilde, although the highest relative frequency of verbalizers of the studied concept is a characteristic feature of the texts of Maria Matios. Meanwhile, Irena Karpa, Yuri Andruchovich relatively infrequently refer to sadness. The analysis shows that a repertoire of attributes that authors ascribe to concept can be considered a specific feature of a writer's idiolect, and it is important to distinguish between stabilized attributes and individual author attributes. The specificity of metaphorization of a particular concept is also a marker of the idiolect. On the one hand, the set of metaphorical models used by particular author to verbalize a concept has been shown to characterize an idiolect. On the other hand, we consider both metaphorical model and its implementation at the verbal level to be significant. For example, the model Emotion is a living being animal is typical of the Ukrainian worldview. At the same time, its verbal realization, загніздитися, is used by Yuri Vennechuk, гніздитися, used by Maria Matios, is one of the markers of the idiolect. The further study of quantitative and qualitative markers of individual authorial conceptualization using corpus data and statistical methods appears to be promising in idiolect idiostyle research. Thank you for your attention.